High Road Leadership by John C. Maxwell explores the concept of leading with integrity, taking the high road in both personal and professional relationships, and making moral choices that define effective leadership. Maxwell emphasizes that true leadership is built on character, ethics, and values, which in turn shape organizational culture and drive success. Introduction. The High Road of Leadership. In High Road Leadership, John C. Maxwell begins by explaining the importance of integrity and values in leadership. He refers to the high road as a metaphor for making ethical choices, even when it's difficult or unpopular. Maxwell insists that leaders who take the high road exhibit qualities like honesty, responsibility, kindness, and fairness, which enable them to earn respect, loyalty, and trust from their followers. Maxwell contrasts the high road with the low road of leadership, where individuals prioritize short-term gains and self-interest, often compromising their principles. He emphasizes that while taking the low road might result in temporary success, it leads to long-term failure because it damages relationships and undermines trust. The core principles of high road leadership. Maxwell outlines several principles that define high road leadership. These principles form the foundation of his approach and guide leaders to navigate challenges and decisions with moral clarity. 1. Character first. Maxwell emphasizes that character is the cornerstone of effective leadership. Leaders who prioritize character over talent or skill build trust within their teams and organizations. Character includes integrity, humility, and consistency, which means doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Leaders must develop their character by being self-aware, holding themselves accountable, and learning from mistakes. 2. Integrity builds trust. Integrity, according to Maxwell, is doing what you say you'll do. Leaders who exhibit integrity consistently inspire trust from their followers. Trust is essential in leadership because it forms the foundation of all relationships. Leaders who break promises, lie, or act dishonestly erode the trust of those around them, which can have disastrous consequences for the organization. 3. Selflessness and servant leadership. High road leaders are driven by a desire to serve others, not just advance their personal goals. Maxwell promotes the concept of servant leadership, which is characterized by humility, empathy, and a commitment to putting others' needs ahead of one's own. Leaders who take the high road understand that their role is to empower, support, and elevate their teams. 4. Accountability and responsibility. Leaders on the high road accept full responsibility for their actions and the outcomes they produce. They don't shift blame or make excuses when things go wrong. Instead, they reflect on their decisions, make amends when necessary, and learn from failures. Accountability fosters a culture of trust and transparency, which ultimately strengthens the organization. 5. Compassion and empathy. Compassionate leaders understand that leadership isn't just about tasks and results, it's about people. Maxwell explains that high road leadership requires empathy, the ability to put oneself in others' shoes, and compassion, the willingness to act on that understanding. Leaders who demonstrate care for their team members' well-being inspire loyalty and motivate others to perform at their best. 6. Vision with values. Leaders on the high road are visionaries who combine their aspirations with a strong sense of values. Vision is important in leadership, but it must be grounded in ethical principles. Leaders who lead with vision and values inspire their teams to work towards shared goals with a sense of purpose. Maxwell insists that the best leaders align their vision with values that benefit the greater good, rather than serving personal ambitions. The high road in relationships. Maxwell devotes a section of the book to the importance of relationships in leadership. He argues that leadership is inherently relational, and the quality of relationships within an organization directly impacts its success. High road leaders focus on building strong, authentic relationships with their followers, colleagues, and peers. 1. Building trust. Trust is the bedrock of all relationships, and Maxwell reiterates that trust is built through consistent integrity, reliability, and transparency. Leaders who take the high road earn the trust of those they lead by keeping their word, being open about their intentions, and admitting when they've made mistakes. Trust is earned over time, and it can be easily lost if leaders do not prioritize it. 2. Conflict resolution. Conflict is inevitable in leadership, but the way leaders handle conflict can make or break relationships. High road leaders address conflicts constructively by focusing on solutions rather than assigning blame. They listen actively, consider other perspectives, and seek win-win resolutions that benefit all parties involved. Maxwell notes that taking the high road in conflict resolution requires patience, emotional intelligence, and a commitment to fairness. 3. Mentorship and development. High road leaders prioritize the growth and development of their team members. They recognize that leadership is about helping others reach their potential. Maxwell encourages leaders to invest time in mentoring others, providing guidance, and offering constructive feedback. Leaders who invest in the development of their people create a culture of continuous improvement and inspire loyalty and commitment. 4. Forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is a key aspect of high road leadership, according to Maxwell. Leaders must be willing to forgive mistakes and work towards reconciliation when relationships are strained. Holding grudges or seeking revenge only perpetuates negativity and hinders progress. High road leaders model forgiveness by letting go of past wrongs, focusing on solutions, and fostering an environment where people feel safe to admit their mistakes and learn from them. The high road in decision-making. Decision-making is a critical component of leadership, and Maxwell emphasizes that high road leaders make decisions based on principles and values rather than expediency or self-interest. Ethical decision-making requires leaders to consider the long-term impact of their choices on individuals, organizations, and society. 1. Principle-based decisions. High road leaders use ethical principles as a guide when making decisions. This means choosing what is right, even when it's not easy or convenient. Maxwell highlights the importance of aligning decisions with core values, such as honesty, fairness, and respect. Leaders who consistently make principle-based decisions build trust with their teams and create a culture of integrity. 2. Long-term thinking. High road leaders think beyond the immediate consequences of their actions. They consider the long-term effects of their decisions on the organization and its stakeholders. Maxwell advises leaders to resist the temptation of short-term gains that may compromise their values. Instead, they should focus on building sustainable success by making decisions that align with their vision and values. 3. Courage in decision-making. Taking the high road often requires courage. Leaders must be willing to make difficult decisions that may not be popular or well received in the short term. Maxwell encourages leaders to stand by their convictions, even in the face of criticism or opposition. Courageous decision-making is a hallmark of high road leadership because it demonstrates a commitment to doing what's right, regardless of the personal or professional cost. 4. Inclusiveness and collaboration. High road leaders value diverse perspectives and seek input from others before making important decisions. Collaboration and inclusiveness ensure that leaders make well-rounded decisions that consider the needs and concerns of all stakeholders. Maxwell notes that leaders who involve others in the decision-making process foster a sense of ownership and engagement among their team members. The high road in organizational culture. Maxwell concludes the book by discussing how high road leadership shapes organizational culture. Leaders who consistently take the high road create a culture of trust, accountability, and integrity. This culture, in turn, drives the success of the organization by fostering collaboration, innovation, and employee engagement. 1. Ethical culture. High road leaders set the tone for ethical behavior within their organizations. They lead by example, demonstrating integrity, honesty, and fairness in all their interactions. This behavior sets a standard for others to follow and creates a culture where unethical behavior is not tolerated. Maxwell stresses that leaders must not only talk about values but live them every day. 2. Empowerment and engagement. High road leaders empower their teams by creating an environment where people feel valued, respected, and encouraged to contribute. Empowerment leads to higher levels of employee engagement, which drives productivity and innovation. Maxwell notes that leaders who invest in their people create a culture of loyalty and dedication, where employees feel motivated to go above and beyond. 3. Continuous improvement. Finally, Maxwell emphasizes that high road leaders foster a culture of continuous improvement. They encourage learning, growth, and innovation within their teams. By focusing on development and improvement, leaders create an environment where people are motivated to excel and contribute to the success of the organization. Conclusion. In high road leadership, John C. Maxwell presents a powerful case for leading with integrity, values, and ethics. He explains that true leadership is not about personal ambition or short-term success but about building lasting relationships, making principled decisions, and creating a culture of trust and accountability. Leaders who take the high road inspire loyalty, foster collaboration, and achieve sustainable success for themselves and their organizations.